Will wonders never cease? I, I can't even begin to describe my surprise that we have just seen an earnings call where the price of the stock pretty much steadily went up the entire call, ending up 6.5 at the end, or about 4%. So why? What happened? What? And Elon was on the call, making this even more surprising. Because typically what we've seen is that Elon will say something that he thinks is really cool and wonderful, but that the street or the after hours folks don't find so wonderful. But this time, it was all different. I'm Randy Kirk. If you like this kind of content, if it's helpful, please like. And let's dive right into what in the world happened today in the earnings call. I'm going to take this kind of in the order that the earnings call went, and we're just going to look at the items that attracted my attention, and I'll just make some commentary about each one that I think is useful. Okay, so let's start with why do you think the market went up? I'd love to hear your comments about what changed. My particular take would be this was by far the most conservative, level-headed, straightforward, you might even say mature earnings call that Tesla has had with or without Elon. It was, in my personal opinion, completely understated with regard to the potential for next year. We'll talk about that more in a second. But I guess the market seemed to like that, even given these what I would consider to be ridiculously low bars for 2023, the company would still make a very nice increase in revenues and a very nice increase in profits, and continue to do what they said they're going to do, which is to ramp automotive at 50% a year into the foreseeable future on average. So let's go down the list. The first thing that they said was, we need to answer the demand question. Is demand strong? And again, they were very conservative, but they said, we have double the number of orders coming in than we have productive capacity in early January. When early January, that would be through the 25th. So through today, they've had double the number of orders coming in that they have the capacity to produce, and that they've never had numbers like that before, ever. Now, the price decreases and all the IRA, and now Germany has an incentive, and China is, potentially buying gifts for Chinese New Year, and there's all kinds of reasons why this might be happening. But what we do know is that's the current situation. And again, they were so conservative. Elon says, well, that's what we have now. We don't know if it's going to be like that a month from now, but at least for now, we see no demand issues that we can foresee. He has iterated again, I would say at least brought it up 3 or 4 times, that he still feels there will be either a mild or maybe even a rough recession in 2023, but says that Tesla is better situated to handle a recession than certainly any automotive company, and maybe compared to many, many other companies, period, because they have, 20 billion sitting in the bank and no debt. And they have lots of marginal capacity to change prices and to reduce prices. Also interesting, he mentioned twice that they just raised the price of one of the products in the line, and that was due to volume orders coming in. Now, this is what I've been saying for a week at least since the price cuts, is that these price cuts are not forever, and the price cuts are going to be adjusted as we see situations like that, where there was just way too many orders of that particular car. And so they raise the price back up, which means they'll reduce a little demand in that area that might move somewhere else. He reiterated again that FSD take rates, and that would just be one example. FSD take rates are up. They're looking better and better. There's more interest in FSD, and that as people have spent less on the car, they'll have more money left over to spend on FSD. So that would be huge because those margins are almost infinite. Okay, what was next? The 4680 is currently capable of producing enough product to make 1,000 cars per week. That's pretty good. They didn't talk about where the goals are, except that they were anticipating continued increases. I think, if I remember right, he did say that in 2024, they did believe that they would have Austin fully ramped with regard to the 4680s. So that was a good thing to hear. Their operating income in 2022 doubled over 2021. I don't think right now that it's likely that they will double again next year, or certainly they wouldn't be predicting that at this point. But as you'll see as we go down the list, there's a lot of places where potentially things could break out by a lot, depending on just what happens in the economy and what happens with some of their ramps during the course of the year. Their free cash flow was up 50% in 2022 compared to 2021. That again becomes a great number. Their margins are currently healthy and industry leading. So what did they say about margins and about the effect on the price per car, the average selling price in 2023 compared to 2022? Well, somebody asked the question, well, do you think the average selling price would drop below 47? Do you think the margins would drop below 20%? The answer to that was, again, so conservative. No, we don't see them dropping below those two numbers. They didn't say that they thought they would be a lot higher. They didn't give a number. So we're going to take a look right now. What happens? Oh, I'm sorry. And they also said they thought they would sell a minimum of 1.8 million cars. So they did give us that number, which would be roughly a 50% increase over the 1.3 million they sold this year. So, and that they might sell as many as 2 million. That was their range, 1.8 to 2 million. I think there's no chance in the world they can sell 1.8 million cars, because I don't think they can sell that few. So I'm looking at 2 million. So we're going to use their top number of 2 million, which you all, if you follow me, you know I think it's going to be a lot higher than that. But let's use 2 million times 47,000 times 20% margins. And that would give you about 19 billion in profits, net automotive profits next year. Well, that's about the net automotive profits for this year. So the reduction in the average selling price, the reduction in the margins would be taken up, the slack would be taken up by selling another 500,000 cars, 600,000 cars, something like that. So you would now have about the same automotive margin, the automotive total revenue. They say what they're doing is they're working on costs across the board. So they went into a lot, actually quite a bit of detail, surprising amount of detail of, how the costs have come down on steel, costs have come down on aluminum, lots of costs have come down except for lithium. And so now they're working on ways to solve that. How can you solve the fact that lithium is still the thing that's affecting the cost of the car by far the most? How do you solve that? How can you change the batteries? How can you change the way that the batteries work in the car? And they say they have solutions. They have things they're working on right now that would reduce the impact of the high price of lithium without even if the price stays up there. So those are good things to hear. We like to hear that. So operating margins is their main effort. Obviously, that's what anybody that owns the company should be interested in. What is the bottom line? How much is the actual profit, no matter how you get there within the law? Okay, so they said that, let's see here. Oh, with regard to the 4680 batteries, they did say one line is running. They did not say it was fully ramped. There are 3 additional lines in Austin that are in various stages of being either equipped or beginning to be certified, but only one of them is fully operational, but we don't know if that means the 1,000 units, cars per week from the 4680. We don't know if that means that's its capacity. I haven't done the numbers. Maybe you could do the numbers, put it in the comments below as to whether that means if they had all 4 running at the 1,000 cars per week, which would be 4,000 cars per week. Is that enough? Would that be getting us close to the 100 gigawatts? I don't think so, but that would be something that would be interesting to take a look at. It might give us a clue as to how far along the ramp is on the one line. All right, next would be Cybertruck. So my number on Cybertruck for 2023 seems to be maybe not makeable. They're saying that the real ramp won't start until 2024, that in 2023, they're in the process right now of putting us, getting it all ready to go, and that by summer they will be making some cars, but that it won't really start to ramp until 2024. This could be, this could be once again reducing expectations, setting low bars. That's what I believe that they were doing the entire call. So maybe there still is a chance of 25,000 Cybertrucks this year, which is the number I've been using, but it certainly sounded as if they planned for a significant ramp in 2024. All right, let's see here. Next would be insurance. This was kind of an interesting part. The insurance right now is about 300 million in annual sales. It's growing at about 20% per quarter. They have about a 17% take rate in the states where it's offered. They don't have a very high take rate in the states where it's not offered. That the real benefit of the insurance is not necessarily in the profits, it's in the customer service and the feedback loop. So the customer service part of it is that other insurance companies were charging people a whole lot of money on Teslas, and it was not justified. Partially, I'm sure they just didn't know how much to charge, and they wanted to cover their behinds. But maybe they were profiteering. So Tesla stepped in and said, look, if your insurance company's charging you way too much, we're going to give you an opportunity to do it with us at a rate that is commensurate or even lower than what you might expect. So that was the main reason they wanted to do it, was customer service. The second thing is they said, we are getting huge benefits from the feedback loop in terms of the way we even build the bumpers. That, most accidents result in some scratches or dents in bumpers. And so we've already adjusted the way we design bumpers in order to mitigate some of those costs. And we've also started to put first principles to work in how to manage accidents so that if you have an accident, your car goes in the shop, you get it out quickly, which reduces the cost of rental cars and everything else, makes you happier. So there's all kinds of benefits happening out of this insurance part that are kind of that you wouldn't have anticipated. So anyway, that was the conversation there. The next Megapack factory that was asked, I was so thankful, I was so excited, because that was one of my main questions is, what about the next Megapack factory? They said, wow, that's way up top of our list of the things that we're thinking about. And we definitely know we have to start putting these babies out there. They both on the battery side and on the battery storage side, that was a lot of the conversation, which confirms the things that I've been talking about now for 3 months. This is the future. The growth rate is going to be huge in this category. The battery, of course, they're shooting for 1 terawatt. They mentioned that over and over again. Well, in order to do that, they're talking about, originally, I think they were talking about up to 200 in Austin. Now they're talking about up to 500 in the new Reno facility. That'd be 700 right there. So they're still going to need another 300 in order to get to that 1 terawatt. And, they said it's not going to be next week or next month. It's something that's going to happen, but it's going to happen just as fast as they can possibly make it happen. And the same thing was true with energy storage, is that they have their goals for energy storage. They say it's an infinite demand. And yes, they know that they need to announce very soon how they're going to expand in terms of new factories or new capacity to do the Megapacks and the Powerwalls, because they're both demand constrained at this point. I mean, too much demand, not enough supply. Okay, so they mentioned that a number of times. What is the fastest path on the batteries to 1 terawatt? To 100, to 1 terawatt, and also what is the fastest path to generate the maximum amount of energy storage? multiple times they talked about new products coming, and then they hinted. So new products coming, looks like, at least for one thing, will be additional commercial vehicles. So I'm not sure, you can't take too much from this, but he kind of got caught with a question, and he kind of answered it, that on March 1st, one of the things that we're probably going to hear about is, I'm going to guess it would be smaller trucks, it would be vans, some of these other categories that would be fairly easy for them, I think, to get into and produce. Now, here was a big one. This is one for everybody to really stop and think about. Maybe you're new to this. Maybe you're listening to this and you're not really up to speed on the entire Tesla story. Maybe you've been listening for years, but either way, the reason why we don't have commercial vans yet, the reason that we don't have pickup trucks, the reason that we don't have larger trucks, I mean, in between trucks, between semis and pickup trucks, the reason we don't have lots of things is battery constraint. He said clearly, and this makes so much sense, if you cannot get enough batteries, why produce yet another line of products? It makes absolutely no sense. It costs you more to have 5 lines than it does to have 4 lines. So why would you have a 5th line if all you're going to do is now have to split up those batteries between more different factory lines? It makes 0 sense. It certainly makes 0 sense if you can sell every one of the 4 products that you're already making. So this is why you don't see additional products. It's totally because there wasn't enough batteries, but now there is. And so now we're going to see more products coming along. There was an intimation, and I'm not sure again whether this is a little bit of sandbagging, that one of the reasons why 2 million is kind of a cap for 2023 on total vehicles might still be battery constraints. But then he went on to say, if there's enough batteries, if we can do the 2 million vehicles and there's batteries left over, those will all go into storage. So that became a little confusing to me. I'm not 100% sure what all that means, because we really don't know, and maybe they don't know yet, how many batteries they're going to have available. So they're going to make as many batteries as they can. They're going to buy as many as they can. And is really the final number for next year, whether it's energy storage or whether it's cars, is it really constrained by batteries? So, even though they said they have all they need, well, all they need may not be enough to do 2.5 million vehicles and also do 40 gigawatts at Lathrop. So not sure. Be great to, that's a new question that we'll maybe need somehow to ask. Maybe we'll get some answers to that on March 1st. Okay. Talk about the cost of lithium. Lots of talk about cost reductions across the board. They are really working on cost reductions in every aspect of the car, even including the transportation of the car after it's made, the transportation, logistics of incoming raw materials, everything that they can do to reduce the costs they are working on. That is a major part of the focus for 2023. Dojo. So for those of you who are excited about Dojo, Elon went out of his way to say that they are so far ahead of the rest of the world when it comes to artificial intelligence, when it comes to learning, the learning, the kinds of things that Dojo will give them in terms of the neural net learning capacity. They believe that they will be an order of magnitude more energy efficient on Dojo than NVIDIA by 2024. That's a lot. So this is a major part of what makes the company tick. He says, yeah, some people see us as an automotive company. Some people see us as an energy company. Some people see us as a tech company. What we really are is an AI company. So there's a little insight for you in terms of where Elon's thinking is coming. We always need to know what Elon is thinking about. He sees them as an AI company. He sees them as way ahead on neural net learning. He sees them as way ahead on full self-driving, that there's nobody that's even close at this time. He did say that if anybody was likely to catch up, it would be the Chinese. He gave a lot of a lot of said a lot of nice things about Chinese manufacturers being really, really smart and really, really hardworking. So let's see. They talked about captive financing. This is something else I brought up when I talked about other marketing levers they could pull, and they're already pulling these levers. So in Germany right now, there's some very low-cost loans and leases, and they mentioned that, and they have the opportunity to do that in the United States, and they do some captive leasing and some very specific lending in the United States that's captive, where they want to make sure that they are that the folks that they want to sell to have available the right kind of financing. They did say probably not going to expand the consumer level lending a lot in 2023 if there is a major recession. They don't want to get into a place where they're going to get caught with some problems downstream. But in general, they said the way that it was put, Zach said, look, all the plumbing is in place to do consumer financing and industrial financing. They're already doing that with megapacks and other products. So we have it all in place, and we will increase it as it makes sense for the company. Okay, let's see. I think that was everything they talked about. I couldn't be more excited. The company, I mean, it's this conservative call. The stock goes up during an earnings call. Everything about it was so adult and mature, and all they can do is beat. At this point, they've put the bar so low that all they can do in 2023 is beat, beat, beat. And what happens when you beat the street? Well, you know, you and I both know what happens then. If this content's been useful and helpful, please please comment. Lots of comments, please. I want to hear what you think about all this. Do you agree? Is this a conservative call? Is this something that is going to make everybody more excited? Oh, oh, for those of you who've already switched off, you're going to miss this last thought. They ask him, hey, Elon, you know, what's with all the, you know, all this stuff where you're tweeting things and doing all this politics and stuff, and isn't it hurting the brand? And Elon says, well, you know, I have the most active account on Twitter, and I have 128 million followers on Twitter. I guess some people like me. So anyway, hey, listen, it's been great talking to you.